Thank you very much. Like I said, until your tenure expires, you must continue to provide the dividends of democracy to your people. My tenure will expire on the 29th of May 2023. Therefore, we will continue to make our people happy. We will continue to provide those infrastructure that will have positive impacts in their lives and try to drive economic activities in the state. Of course, you are aware that tomorrow, the 28th of February, the governor of Bauchi State, I'm sure he has arrived, he will flag off the 10th flyover, which this 10th flyover is not as if we awarded them for 2015. No. These 10 flyovers were awarded from 2019. We have finished 6. The 6th one will be commissioned on Tuesday, the 1st of March. And the 7th and 8th and 9th will be commissioned by first week of April. And tomorrow we are flagging off the 10th flyover. Of course, people have called my attention severally about traffic problems, traffic jam in some of the areas in Port Harcourt and not the Abo metropolis. And one of those areas is the Rumokuta-Rumola-Ikwe Road. And then NTA Junction going to NTA Uzoba area and then coming this way to Boba and taking the other George Road. So for me, we have to go and visit and see for ourselves with the firm, Julius Berger, to look at how it will be more convenient and ease of traffic for the people. So the essence of going to those two areas today is to see how the 11th and 12th flyovers, how it will take place so that it will not cause some more traffic problems. And I know so many people wonder what kind of project a man is leaving office within the next few months, and yet it can never stop until the day we are leaving office. And like I said, all these projects must be completed before we leave. And that is what we have done today. So I'm very glad that the 10th flyover will be flagged off tomorrow and has a 10-month period by Julius Berger to start and finish. We have paid them 75% offers to 80%, so they have no excuses of not completing this 10th flyover. And it makes us happy. From 2019 to 2022, we have awarded 10 flyovers, 6 have been completed. 3 will be completed in April this year. What a track record. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So I can get them. Well, a legacy of a prosperous river state. A legacy that we have brought back the state to what it used to be. A legacy that is a united river state, irrespective. River State is one of the states that have a lot of ethnic nationalities. And we have tried to show that all of us are one, irrespective of the language we speak or irrespective of our culture. So I still want that united river state, irrespective of where you come from. And that is what we have tried to let our people know. And see the support we get, see the cooperation we get. So, and leave the legacy that tomorrow, anybody coming will not distort or try to scatter the unity we have created as far as all the ethnic groups are concerned. It's key. Peace is key. When there's no peace, you cannot achieve any development. So legacy of peace that usher in development, that is what we are doing. And that is what we think by the grace of God will achieve. frankly speaking, I'm so elated. And let me start by commending the former governor of Plateau State, Jonah Chang, and former governorship candidate and former FCT Minister General Hussaini. When I came to speak to them about the peace, about unity of the party, my happiness is that it has yielded. The effort has yielded fruit by winning the last by-election that was conducted yesterday in Plateau State. You see, like I've always told everybody, it's not about presidency, it's about how the party will be united and make impact, even for anybody to win that presidency. So what Jonah Chang and Hussaini and their teams have done yesterday, I'm so impressed. And I thank them. And I said, nothing can be that. Nothing. You see, when you work as a people, as a party, first of all, I've said, party first. Party first. Before any other thing, party first. The same thing, I'll commend the people of Cross River State. Yes, my expectation was they were going to take the 2 seats. Unfortunately, we lost the federal house, but we won the state constituency. But what it means, it portends, is that if all of us come together, if all of us look PDP first, you will see that we can take over this government in 2023. It is not about me. It's not about you. It's about our country. It's about our party. So I commend Leah Limuke, I commend Donadu, I commend the 3 senators, the chairman, the candidates. Yes, I was following up what was happening in the federal constituency. That was election that was won. But look at the violence that was unleashed by the APC government in Cross River. But it's okay. We have known their modus operandi. We have known what they're planning in 2023. But above it all, I thank God Almighty and I commend them. I commend the PDP Cross River for showing a good fight and winning the state constituency, even though they lost the federal constituency. We have to go back to the drawing board and make amends. I commend them. I also commend the people of Ondo State. Dr. Mimiko, former governor, and Jegede, who was former governorship candidate. You see, they loved what was the budget? 2,070 votes. So, it means that even though they are not in power, you can see what they did. What happened in that case was the Minister of Niger Delta, Minister of State Delta, what he did, those votes came from his community. And that is why we want to say, ANEC is showing some more commitments. And we want to commend it. And let me see, with the election of Ekiti and Osun, with the signing to law by Mr. President, I had the election, the results were transmitted electronically. They're using the smart card to determine over voting. Let me see how Ekiti and Osun, it will be a test case. These are 2 test cases that Nigerians are waiting to see how actually we can rely on the Electoral Act. But by and large, I commend the PDP family for showing a good fight in these areas. I commend them for what they have shown. It means that there's hope for us. The leaders in Cross River, the leaders in Plateau, the leaders in Ondo, I commend them. And they should not relent. As far as we are concerned in the party, we'll do everything we can to give them all the necessary support. And that's what the PDP requires now. So that unity to come together is key.
So would you say that gospel of unity and sacrifice which you've been preaching?
Yes. Yes. Of course, the unity I've been preaching has yielded results. Unlike now, where everybody was on his own. But if you see, sincerely, when I went to Plateau State, what I told Governor Jonah Chang, former governor, what I told Joyce was to say, look, I cannot come to you and tell you different things and go to Chang and tell him different things. I will look into their eyes and tell them, General, I think you are wrong here. Governor Chang, I think you are right here, or you are wrong here. See, the problem with our people is the inability to be able to tell people the simple truth. Why they don't do that is because of what they want to get from various parties. You want to be a president? I don't want to talk so that Oseri will not be angry with me. I don't want to talk so that Jang will not be. For Christ's sake, nobody was born to be a president. Your party must be one for you to be whatever you want to do. I can tell them, General Jang, you are wrong. General Oseri, you are wrong. They are my fathers, but I owe them that duty. And I owe my party that responsibility. That is the only way. And look at the result we have gotten today. It's because of that preach for unity. And that's what I'm saying. Well, you know, the Electoral Act was just recently amended. And so this election was conducted on the old Electoral Act. Let us see the elections in Ekiti and Osun, how INEC will perform using this Electoral Act as a test case for us. So it is very key. And so, but for what I've seen overall, I think INEC is committed to making improvements day by day. We cannot, comparatively, you can see, yes, in spite of the fact that violence unleashed on people, police being involved and this and that, but there's still hope. Yes, I believe that there's still hope for improvement. Based on the Electoral Act amendment by Mr. President and the commitment that INEC has shown, yes.
Okay, we're talking about the transmission of election results, electronic transmission of results. If our model voter segregation system, there were challenges with the machine. Yes.
I have told you those things will be correct. INEC said, look, they are it's a test run. It's a test run. So you can't, take for example in America, sometimes the machines fail. What is important, having identified it as failed, is there any improvement you are making? Day by day, day by day. In any way, in a number happen, they improve. So it's for us to encourage them to see how they can get the best, because in that case you have a larger election, which will be general election in 2023. So you have to make sure that, look, having tested all this, you go back to say, look, we have tested this. These are the problems we have found out. How do we improve? We go to the providers. How do we improve on this? I think we don't need to worry.
I know this might not be enough yardstick to assess your performance in 2023, but is this a quarter to better days to come for your party?
Well, everybody knows. It's not a question of a pointer. Nigerians are not happy with the ruling party. It's for us to put our hands together and take over the government by 2023. It's really a pointer. You see, the truth of the matter, if it is based on performance, APC knows they cannot talk about winning an election again 2022. Forget about the propaganda. They cannot. That is forgone. But it's just, but you can't also take over if you are not prepared by being united.
Okay, your party is being how united are you?
Well, I have told you, there's no family, all families have one problem or the other. That's why I went to Plateau, I went to Cross River. Look at the result it has yielded. So we were building up to put up everybody together. That's the point I'm making.
The PDP has actually not come out to announce where it has sold the presidential ticket. But I know some persons have come out to show interest. What's your take on this? These people who have come out so early?
What is important, everybody who is a member of a political party that does his ambition has the right to say this by ambition. You cannot stop anybody's ambition. Until when, if you even win the party, says they are zoned to so place, you must also have some renegades who will say no, they will not obey. So it's human nature. So declaring interest is a fundamental right to express intention to vie for the position of the highest office in the country. So there's nothing wrong in that.
Okay, you've not held your party convention, but former Vice President of Nigeria, former flag bearer of your party, Atiku Abubakar, has come out to say that you win the ticket anytime and that he has always won the ticket. So how would you react to it?
Well, it's unfortunate, frankly speaking, because I was busy monitoring some of the elections that were taking place in some of the states. Somebody sent me the video when the Waziri Adamawa, the former vice president and former presidential candidate of our party, visited one of our leaders in the country, the former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. And when he came out, he was meant to have said he has always won the ticket or got the ticket of the party. I didn't believe he said so until when I watched it and then played it all over and what and I said, what I expected was that I want to have said that I'm hopeful. And if you say I'm hopeful that I will win, and I believe as a politician, you must give confidence to your supporters so that they can continue to move on. But when you say you always take the ticket of the party, what it tells me is that maybe, yes, as you know, there are those who say they are founding fathers of the party, which means like to a company, and they are shareholders of the company. And like the vice president, he appears to be the chairman of the shareholders of the company. In this case, the chairman of the founding fathers of the PDP. We are employees. They employed us and we are working for them. We have no problem about that. If as founding fathers and they will always take the majority, they will take the profits and whatever. So be it. But I didn't expect him, frankly speaking, to make that kind of statement that he will always take the ticket of the party. That is too far. That's going too far and taking the delegates for granted. And I think that when he left, he must, for me, I believe, knowing him well, very intelligent man, he's a good strategist and a reasonable person. Like any other person can make a mistake when you're addressing the public. So I believe he may have realized that such a statement may not have gone too well amongst PDP people. So that's why people are sending the video. Oh, I will always get the ticket. It looks somehow. And for me, you know, the problem I have, people say, why do you want to speak? And I said, I don't know. It's a problem for me. I cannot sit down and see where something is going wrong and nobody wants to say something. I don't feel comfortable about it. I don't feel comfortable. And moreover, in a family, and that can destroy a family. And I said, no, you can't take the delegates for granted that you will always. No, that would be unfair. That would be unfair. And I think, well, that's his own view. And let's watch and see what happens as we go to the convention. And let's watch and see. So many people are here will come back. We will all look at it. But all I've said is for the interest of the party, anything that will make PDP to win the election, that's what I will support. But I will not be, you know, trying to be boxed up for one reason. Now, nobody can use propaganda or intimidation to think that they can change my views. No, it's not going to happen. But people should watch. It will be shock as far as PDP convention is concerned. The people should watch. People should watch what is going to happen. You know, people like to direct so many people. And it's not good in politics. Watch what is going to happen. What people are thinking may not be at the end of the day. May not be. But whoever that emerges of all the aspirants, we will rather than the person and make sure that PDP wins 2023.
But when you say let's watch out for what's going to happen, is Atiku Abubakar counting his head before the head starts?
Well, like I've told you here, I said, well, he said he will always win 50, so he's sure. He's sure of it. I think he's a founding father. In fact, as a founding father, based on the statement, he's like, I'm chairman of the shareholders of this company called PDP now, for example. And so I take the first shot before anybody. I take the majority, since I'm the, all kinds of things. But I said, everybody should calm down. Let's work for the party. But people will be shocked on how this convention will go. People will be shocked. People will be shocked. So I want to tell everybody, just pray to God, do it the best you can do. But nobody shall arrogate to himself or herself that power, that will always think that, oh, because it was like that yesterday, therefore it will be like that today, or therefore it will be like that tomorrow. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. But first of all, talk about the unity of the party. Though it will not cause any disaffection. Rather, it will make us to come together the more. I mean, it will change out the more. It shouldn't be a problem. No matter what that has to do, some people will feel it. So in fact, that will make him to lose some support because some people will take that, oh, you are taking us for granted. Oh, because you have won before, you continue to win. It doesn't matter. Whatever that happens, So that's the way I look at it. It's not that it's going to bring any disaffection amongst us in the party. We are not abiding party. The party will soon meet. The NEC will meet, and then this will find the way forward. How do we put our house in order to make sure we religiously follow the timetable of IBEC? Religiously follow the timetable without violating any provisions of the law and the guidelines that IBEC may have produced. So this is not the first time where the party, the National Working Committee, is their duty. I'm sure we have a chairman and his team who are up and doing, making sure that things are right. So, yes, it may be too tight, but it is where it is tough, who are men, who men are. So I think that we'll come out of it. If you ask yourself, what is the real change? Take for example, let's start from my state. As a people, as a government, with what we have done in this state, what else do citizens want? Basic infrastructure, security. What else do we want? When people talk about agriculture, how do you talk about agriculture when there's no security? Who will go to the farm when they are killing them up and down? From what we have done in Rivers State and other states of PDP, does that not show you that PDP has the capacity to make Nigeria better than local? Yes. And whether you like it or not, you can't compare this government to what PDP used to be, compared to the PDP government in those days. No. We may not have done the best, but comparatively, no, there's no basis. Right from 1999, look at the legacies that were achieved. So whether PDP is prepared to give, I think we are very much prepared. Very, very much prepared. If there are mistakes the party had made before, we are willing to correct them. And see what this party has done for the last 6-7 years. There's no basis of even having a rethink or trying to forgive them, to give them an opportunity. That would be slavery. That would be slavery. So I think the PDP is fully prepared to have to make a change. That Nigerians are worse for it. Look at what the PDP states are doing. If the PDP states are not compare, that tells you, look, we think that this party is serious. We think this party has realized the mistake they have made before. You couldn't have realized this if the states are not doing well. That is point one. Because you will say, how do we think that you can do better if you country national? Now you can see the performances of the governors at the state level. That tells you the party has sat down and said, look, we must make sure Nigerians get the best. We must let Nigerians know that this party, called the APC, never did well. And the only way Nigerians will say they didn't do well is by us providing those things Nigerians that will make Nigerians happy. Take, for example, when people came and said PDP and National Level were not doing well, they put APC. Now they have seen that it's a failure. They're not comparing. So everything is comparative analysis. And I can assure you, by the time that PDP presents their candidates in the national election, you will not be, it will be easy for you to know that really PDP means business, not just talking.
Thanks for checking out Symphony on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.